So hello everyone, this is the new month and today is Monday, August 1st, 2022 and we are doing as usual the Hindu Delhi edition and we'll begin by first identifying the most important news and it would be obviously followed by a detailed discussion. So let's go and see what are the important news today. Okay, the 5G spectrum auction has crossed 1.5 lakh crore bid. Okay, fine. Just know this thing. No need to go into detail. Okay. On in Telangana, not required. Okay, now this is a case study. Fine. In children issues. Okay, we'll do that. PMLA verdict and erosion of constitutional buffers. Okay, if you want you can give it a read. We have already done it yesterday only. No need to do the same thing every day. India's wheat waiver, WTO demand is risk fraud. Okay, we'll do this. Representation all the way up. Okay, bringing Eurasia closer. INSTC, which aims to bring Eurasia closer together, is a laudable initiative. Okay, give it a read if you want. This is directly from the static section, so I don't think we have to read it every now and then. People's apology for mass Canada graves. Okay, we'll do the gist, not more than that. The need for distinction between blasphemy and hate speech. We'll do this first the gist and then we'll see what can we do with this. Okay, technology powering hybrid electric vehicle gist would be enough, I think, because it is talking about a hybrid, right? So both will be there. Okay, India Oman to hold exercise, military exercise, and the name is Al Naza 4. Okay, okay. Only 21% productivity in Rajya Sabha. This is disgusting. COVID to grade universal immunization. Know these things. I don't think it is very important with respect to examination. Okay, we'll do this very briefly. Maybe we can write it in the stress sectors of economy. Debris from China rocket falls on Earth. Okay, we'll do this. Okay, let's see. And we have another medal. Okay. In weightlifting event, we are doing very good. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So yes, we are done with today's identification section. Right. Now let's go directly to analysis. Page 3. Okay, let's see. I don't think we had a news on this page, right? Neither on this page. We had a child case study on somewhere, no? Yes, here it is. Okay, this is a obviously a case study. You can quote it in examination where child issues are involved. Case study it is. Okay. A video has gone viral on social media where students of government school in Bihar can be seen in performing menial jobs in violation of anti-child labor law. Jehanabad district magistrate Rishi Pandey said disciplinary actions has been ordered. In the footage, children can be seen chopping wood, cutting stones and digging the ground. Okay. We took note of the video on Friday and visited the school situated in Islampur Panchayat. The state of affair left much to be desired. He said upkeep at the school was abysmal and attendance very low. Fine. So this is the problem of government school. Obviously, hollowing should be stopped at any cost. Now let's see the editorial here only. No need to wait. So India's wheat waiver WTO demands is risk fraught. Okay. Such a stand will dilute its core agenda of pushing a permanent solution to public stock holding of food security. Fine, let's see. One of the cardinal demands of India in WTO, and rightly so, has been to find permanent solution to issue of public stock holding of food to protect India's food security. India PSH is based on procuring food items from farmer at administered price, which is generally higher than the market price. The PSH policy serves to an objective offering remunerative practices to farmer and providing subsidies to food to underprivileged. Okay. However, under WTO, such price support based procurement from farmer is counted at trade distorting subsidy. Okay, and if given beyond a permissible limit, breaches WTO law. Currently, India is temporarily relieved due to peace clause, which bars the country from bringing legal challenges against price supportive based procurement for food purposes. However, the permanent solution to this issue is still not offering. The WTO ministerial meeting in Geneva did precious little to address the issue. Paragraph 10 of the Declaration on Food Security adopted at Geneva Ministerial states we recognize adequate food stock can contribute to realizations of member domestic food security objective and encourage member with available surplus to stock to release them on international market consistently with WTO rules. As I have argued prima facie, this might show India's concern about PSH during issue have been taken on board. However, for India, the real issue is not about maintaining adequate food stock, which WTO rules do not prohibit. Okay, the real issue is not about maintaining adequate food block, which WTO rules do not prohibit. Providing food is stocked by employing non-trade distorting instruments such as providing income support in cash transfer independent of crop production. India's concern is that it should have policy space to hold public food stock using MSP, which is a price supportive instrument. However, there is no mention of this in Geneva Declaration. New dimension. In the run-up to the WTO ministerial meeting and subsequently, India's demand for permanent solution to PSH policy has acquired a new dimension. India insists that it should also be allowed to export food. Okay, most notably wheat, from pool of food grains procured under the MSP. This demand was recently articulated by Finance Minister at G20 meeting in Indonesia. The Russia-Ukraine war has unleashed a food crisis in many countries. India perhaps wishes to capitalize on this opportunity. However, WTO law prescribes country from exporting exporting food grains procured at subsidized price. There is a sound economic rationale behind it. Okay, what is the rationale? This is very important thing. Allowing a country to export food grain produced at a subsidized price would give the country unfair advantage. Okay, in global agriculture trade, the country concerned will sell the food grain in international market at very low price, which in turn might depress the global price and adverse impact on agriculture trade on other country. Accordingly, Para 4 of 2013 WTO decision on PSH of for the food security purposes clearly states that the country procuring food for food security purposes shall ensure that such procured food does not distort trade. Okay, such procured food does not distort trade or adversely affect the food security of the members. The same spirit is reflected in paragraph 10 of Geneva Ministerial Food Security Declaration, which states that country may release surplus food stock in international market in accordance with the law. Debatably, WTO may agree as temporary waiver to allow exports of wheat from public stock holdings given the ongoing food crisis in some countries. In fact, before WTO ministerial meeting, India reportedly requested such a waiver. Okay. However, it is very unlikely that such a request will be acceded to. The history of waivers at the WTO is fraught with huge letdowns. Fine, the recently adopted waivers on intellectual property for COVID-19. Yes, we know that we have already done this. That the advanced countries, especially European countries, wanted that this thing IP, intellectual property rights, should be carried out with COVID vaccines and all the related instruments. But India and South Africa and other country wanted that it should be relieved so that vaccine can reach to the poorest of the poor. And in between, the agreement is reached that vaccines will be made IP free, but the relative equipments will attract the intellectual property rights, right? So in this case, that is what is being referred here. Medical products in the case is a case in point. I said now the related products, medical, that is it. The IP waiver is restricted only to COVID-19 vaccine and does not cover diagnostic and therapeutics. The shallowness of IP waiver is further reinforced by the fact that it is limited only to patents and does not cover other IP rights. You know, there are 6, 7, 8 types of IP like patents, copyright, industrial designs, right? So you look at all of them. Moreover, Article 9 Clause 3 of WTO argument waivers can be adopted only in exceptional circumstances. The WTO filibustered for 2 years, acknowledging once in a century pandemic such as COVID-19 as an exceptional circumstances. Okay, so the WTO has failed to acknowledge that that this pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, which comes one in a century. You know, in 1920, the globe was suffering with plague challenge, and in 2020 we were suffering with corona pandemic, right? So it is once in a century pandemic, and then also the WTO has not accepted it as the exceptional circumstances for IP waiver. Thus, the possibility of its recognizing ongoing war between two nations as exceptional circumstances to adopt waiver is profoundly remote, right? What focus should be? Developed countries have historically opposed India's PSH program as they apprehend that India might divert some of its public stock to international market, thus depressing global prices. While this argument should be taken with pinch of salt, right? India might divert some of its public stock holding to international market, thus depressing global prices, right? So what are the argument of developed country while opposing India's PSH program? That India can supply the procured food grains from market which was subsidized in production. It may divert it to the international market, thus there would be a trade distortion seen. Okay, therefore India should not be allowed this. This is the argument of developed countries, right? While this argument should be taken with a pinch of salt, India actively pushing for exporting food from its official granaries give fresh ammunition to the naysayers to stick to their guns in opposing a permanent solution to PSH issue. Right? Thus, India should revisit its stand on asking for a waiver for wheat export from its public stock holding, which in any case was not part of India PSH policy. Besides, a report as reported, okay. So revisiting on this policy was required because it was never a part of our original policy as per the author, and it has been newly introduced or newly it has crept in it. So India can revisit it and may change the policy if required, right? Besides, as reported, the government wheat procurement has been 57.5% less, almost 60% less than original target for this season. So if public procurement has been low, what is the point of asking waiver to export wheat from public stock? We don't have enough for ourselves, why would we export? That is the thing, because the public procurement has been low, so there is no need as per the author. So go for a waiver. I'll just take it with a pinch of salt. Like in my opinion, maybe we have not procured this year. Next year we may procure, or next to next year we may procure. We are looking at a permanent solution to PSH problem, right? And we are not going for a temporary solution for 1 to 10 years. Okay, so we must see it in a long perspective. That yes, India may get this thing, okay, to divert the wheat from its procured the MSP wheats, right? The only question is that will the developed country agree to it, because WTO is a grand bargain. It is not like your UN, its mechanism is not like United Nations or something SCO or something like that, SARC, BIMSTEC, not like that. It is a grand bargain, and that too within a closed room. That is, it is very opaque in nature, and therefore things are not very transparent and things become muddy and unclear in this. Okay, all these things that the author is saying is more kind of a inference drawn from the various events. It's nothing that that is publicly available directly. Okay, so keep these things in mind, and then with that background you read this article, you will get point by point with this article, right? So if the public procurement that done, spending scarce negotiating capital on this issue might dilute the India's core agenda for pushing of a permanent solution. Our core agenda is what? Permanent solution for PSH, public stock holding program, to attain the goal of food security and providing remunerative prices to the farmer. The laudable objective of helping countries facing food crisis can be accomplished by strengthening India's commitment to United Nations World Food Programme, UN Food, or if domestic situation ameliorates, India can lift the ban imposed on private traders to export wheat. Negotiation at WTO requires crystal clarity of the core objective that should be relentlessly pursued. Adding newer objectives and shifting goalposts might result in falling between the two stools. Okay, so it's a good article. If you don't understand the mechanism of WHO, the Uruguay agenda, the Bali agenda and all those things, then you must go first to the basics, do it, and then come to this article. You will understand it very clearly. Look, 3-4 issues are there: agrarian issues, okay, IP issues, fisheries issues, right? And now your new issues is e-waste issue. These things are coming in perspective right now. Fine. So you have to see in this dimension the entire thing. You cannot see it with a myopic vision of just 1 or 2 things. Okay, so with this background, you give a read to this article. I will urge you, yes, the best thing is to urge you. I'll urge you to at least make note of this article. This is very important article with respect to examination. WTO is a favorite topic of UPSC, especially in prelims, and you can accept a question in GS3, means paper 4 of mains, right? Interview, yes, you can accept a question if you talk about this. If you don't talk about this, the chances are minuscule that you will be asked questions regarding this. But if you, by the way, talk about WTO, if you use the word WTO or wheat waiver or something like this, waivers and all those things, trade negotiations, which in any case we use during interview, right? So there you can get differences. There you can get attract a question. So accordingly, you prepare this topic. This is a very important topic of WTO, a very important and ongoing issue in since 2013-14, right? So okay, now let's move to the next article. Let's see what we have. The Pope apology for mass Canada graves. And what is this? From July 24, Pope Francis began a 5-day visit to Canada to apologize in person for church role in school meant to assimilate indigenous children. There was after the remains of 751 people, mainly indigenous children, was found at the site of the former residential school in Canada. The residential school system was a federal government initiative aimed at forcefully assimilating indigenous children into the European way of life. Indigenous children were forcefully taken away from their families and put into this school. Many of them were emotionally, physically, and sexually abused. They died mainly due to tuberculosis, malnutrition, and other illness resulting from inhuman conditions inside the school. And Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Canada said Canadians were horrified, ashamed of how our country behaved, right? So the question of Western superiority, as we have always seen, is again questioned by these events, right? These are horrific events. If it would have occurred in India, then you should have seen, or you would be seeing a huge row and cry about this. Okay, row and cry about this would have been there in entire media, that this much number of skeletons found and this has happened and that happened. International media would have given us some suggestions also, that India should look after its minorities and all those things. But since it has occurred in a developed countries in the global north, therefore nothing like that is coming. We get one or two news here and there, that's it. So this is how the intellectual battles are fought, right? India, in my opinion, yes, we are lagging on this front. Our internal security is weakened by this. We must fight on this front also, that yes, our domestic problem are our problem, that is none of their concern. Like their problem is their problem, it is none of our concern, right? So it goes like this. Yes, you can argue on one more point, that there is this point of compassion. Okay, and on point of compassion, yes, this is also our problem. This is the entire human problem, human being. These are the things. But obviously world does not function like that. World functions on interest rather than morality. Okay, so in that context, you just know this thing. You can use it as a case study to show this Western supremacy, or the vulnerable sections are attacked everywhere. This is also a case study for vulnerable sections being attacked everywhere, irrespective of global north south. Okay, so in this perspective you can see. Okay, let's see the difference between blasphemy and hate speech. Okay, blasphemy and hate speech has been on loggerheads since very long time. We have seen many cases. The recent one being that I remember 2-3 years ago, there was a case on this person called Varun Gandhi, right? So on him also there was a case registered, or recently on this Swami Yatyanand, something like that, of this Gurugram temple, right? There has been a case of blasphemy on Nupur Sharma right now, and there has been a case of blasphemy and hate speech mainly on this Akbar Owaisi. What is his name? Akbaruddin, something like this, that person of AIMIM, right? So in that context, let's see section 295A of IPC, what it is. How should blasphemy be treated in the statute as opposed to the hate speech? We'll see the gist first. The legality of section 295A was affirmed by the 5-judge bench of Supreme Court. The court said that the punishment under Article 295A deals with the aggravated form of blasphemy, which is committed with malicious intent of offending any religious sensibilities. Insulting a religion may be disputed, but should also be legally outlawed. Okay. The reason for this is because hate speech laws are predicated on critical distinction between criticizing religion and encouraging prejudice towards individual because of faith. Blasphemy law, which prohibits religious criticism in general, are incompatible with principle of democratic society. Yes, this is correct. In my opinion also, blasphemy laws should be outlawed from the country. Why? There are several reasons. The first being that blasphemy law most of the time leads to non-identification of the hate speech or the hidden motive behind it. People don't tend to listen anything, and in a democratic society, it's the listening that makes it great. It is the culture of India has prospered and has been here in on place because of this thing only that there was nothing called blasphemy altogether. Yes, it was introduced at some level. Yes, it was again ousted at some level, but in general in history we don't see blasphemy with respect to Indian culture. I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about culture. Remember, religion depends upon what? Religion depends upon the geography. Religion depends upon the philosophy, whereas the culture depends upon the geography, right? So blasphemy was never there. You see, there was this rise of, in later Vedic period, there was this rise of karm kand system. Okay, and what happened? We have revolutionary the activities of Buddhism, Jainism, Ajivika, and others, right? Again, we see after later Vedic period we have the Mauryas, we have the Guptas, and during Guptas, Brahmanism or the Sanatan Dharma, not Sanatan Dharma exactly, Brahmanism reached its peak, and then we have the deteriorating Brahmanism. Then it was followed by the 9th to 12th century Bhakti Sufi movement. You see, every time there was this what today we call blasphemy, we have seen in every aspect these things, right? That whenever one aspect of the this thing is of religion. Look, I have to now explain you. Religion comprises of two part. Okay, the karma kand part, and second is what? The philosophical part. Okay, now karma kand part is generally looked upon by purohit, and this is generally looked upon by saints, sant, to whom we say Sufi sant. Okay, for Brahmanism, the purohit is the Brahman, and the philosopher is the philosophical part is looked upon by the sant, the sadhus, right? Similarly, in Islam, the philosophical part, the karm kand part, is looked upon by the these Maulanas, right? And the philosophical part was looked upon by the Sufis. So every time when this thing grows to a prominence, this thing has to grow, right? So that there is a balance maintained. Therefore, you see, every time when a religion is in the hands of this purohit, it suffers a lot. The conditions of Hindus in about 10th in first and 10th century AD was similar to today's condition of Muslim, because at that time during the Rajput era, what was that? The entire Brahmanism was in hand of the purohits. Today entire Islam is in hand of whom? In the hand of these Maulanas, right? So this is the comparison that you should understand. Look, religion, caste, sex, place of birth, right? Your descent, anything does not matter in administration. You are preparing for an administration service, so you must understand this thing. Administration looks beyond these things. Religion is a topic that we have to understand, and we must know how it functions and how we can use it in administration. Caste is same thing, your sex is same thing, your place of birth is same thing. You have to understand how its functionality. It has nothing to do with your personal aspect. You are a state property when you become the officer you desire, right? And a state property has the attributes of the state itself, and our state is a secular state, right? So you have to see it in that perspective. You give it a read. I don't think anything else is needed here. Just know this 295A has been upheld again. Okay, I think, okay, let's see. Hybrid one. The hybrid electric vehicle used in ICE and one-on-one electric motor to run. It is powered by electric motor alone, which uses energy stored in batteries by the ICE or both. The efficiency of HEV will be determined by their ability to recover as much energy as possible while braking with higher degree of energy recovery by lowering fuel. Okay, two things are there. During braking, get the energy back, and your energy recovery from the fuel should be high. The fuel efficiency should be high, so that low fuel is needed or consumed. The regenerative braking system, while enhancing fuel economy, also helps in energy optimization, resulting in minimum energy wastage. The HEV can be categorized into micro mild and full hybrid vehicle based on the degree of hybridization. The hybrid variants of Maruti Suzuki Grand Vitara and Toyota's urban cruiser Hydra can be classified as full and mild SUV. Look, there is one technology called this one, RBS, Regenerative Braking Technology. Okay, you must understand this. Look, I'll give you a very simple example. This is a slope, okay, and train is going like this, something like this, okay. So what will happen? Automatic speed will be there, and you have to apply brake to get it to make acceleration zero at least, or to acceleration zero means uniform velocity. For uniform velocity, where you have to do what? You have to mg is like this. So this, if this is theta, then mg cos theta will be here. So you have a force here, then you will have a direction here, and if you have a direction here, if you have acceleration here, then obviously change in velocity will be observed, but you don't want change in velocity, so you make mg cos theta 0. So in that perspective, you do what? Mg cos theta minus, you put a braking force to make it 0, means force countering mg cos theta will be required. Now this braking force, okay, force can also release energy, so this braking force will, look, this is the wire from which energy is being drawn, so you don't need the energy here. You develop a technology such that the energy that is released on braking is supplied back to the system. This is called regenerative braking. Okay, you got it? Give it a read, you will understand this. This is easy thing. Okay, let's see if anything else is left. Okay, bank fraud by agro product farms amounts to 1400 crores. Okay, let's see. Over 2 dozen firms accused of cheating banks this year. 2 dozen means more than 24. Can you imagine this? 100 companies dealing with agro product came under the scanner of CBI over 5 past years, and it has been 1400 crores. So one of the major cases registered SS. Okay. Failed to repay the loan, accounted that NPA. I said okay. Okay, so there are just case study. In all these cases, lending banks have alleged diversion of funds through different modulus operandi. Shell companies are used to route misappropriated money, which is many a times round trip and invested in related entities. Also, properties are acquired by accused person using funds. In order to get more credit facilities, the companies often inflate their net worth. Okay, so inflation of net worth is also seen. Okay, these things are there. Things has always been there. These are the loopholes in laws that are being misused, right? So you do one thing, you just make a note of it in agriculture section. Okay, what is this? Personnel paying tribute to Axel of Army's elite dog squad in ceremony in Baramulla district. Okay. The 2-year-old German Shepherd was killed during anti-terror operation on Saturday. How can they kill a 2-year dog? It would have been very small. Means obviously not that small, but debris from Chinese rocket falls to Earth. Let's see if we can get something out of here. NASA will obviously say that it is irresponsible, risky. Yes, it is. Obviously, it is. The Chinese booster rocket made an uncontrolled return to Earth, leading US official to cite Beijing for not sharing information about the potentially hazardous object descent. Okay, People Republic of China Long March 5B re-entered over the Indian Ocean approx 10:45 a.m. We refer you to the PRC for further details on the recently technical aspects such as potential debris, dispersal, impact location, etc. The US Space Command said launching the space module, most of its debris were ablated and destroyed during the re-entry, the agency said. Okay, China needed to complete its new Tiangong space station. Malaysia Space Agency said it detected the rocket debris burning up on re-entry. Okay, before falling into the Sulu Sea. Fine. Okay, it was irresponsible. Fine. So the module was related to what? It was related to the space station, right? Okay. Let's see if we have anything else. I don't see if anything else. Yes. So with this we have completed today's newspaper analysis. I hope you like it. If you like it, consider subscribing the channel, liking the content, commenting and sharing the work. With this I take a part from you. It's time to say goodbye. So goodbye all. Good luck. Study hard and Jai Hind.
So friends, I really hope that you like this video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe our channel and share this video with your friend. Follow us on Telegram as well. Also, keep studying hard, keep following your dreams and keep tuned to our channel. Comment below for any suggestion. Till then, goodbye, good luck, keep studying hard.